Hello everyone, my name is Randy Pierce and I am totally blind, a fact that probably would have been obvious to you had I walked into your classroom tapping with my white cane, which is of course the symbol of blindness. It's also a tool, right? It does a couple of things. I use it to tap my way to find obstacles so I can navigate around them, but it also lets me alert all of the world to the fact that I have a sight problem. In my case, total blindness, but for 92% of the people who are blind, they have some sight. They are legally blind. I'm just in the minority case with total blindness. But another way that I might have come into your room is the way I prefer, with my hand on the harness handle of a guide dog team. My guide dog often charms people. Nobody ever asked to pet my cane, but my guide dog and I might have strolled into the room and done a couple of things. One, again, seeing the team, you might have realized, okay, there's a sight impairment here. But you also would have seen, right, the power of teamwork in effect. My guide dog and I work together to navigate obstacles. I get to use their eyes so that they can find things for me. My guide dog has a vocabulary of over 100 words, really, and they'll develop that as we work together because it expands, and we get to highlight kind of the ability awareness. Instead of the focus on my disability, I can't see, we get to focus on all the things I can do. Because we all have disabilities, we all have things we can't do. And the good news is that if it's important to us, we can do the things we love to do, which is to believe in possibility. And more simply, what that means is just to learn to believe in ourselves and the things we want to accomplish by knowing that a little bit of problem solving, a little ingenuity, and a lot of hard work often can get us where we want to go. When I was in middle school, I was fully sighted. In fact, it wasn't until after I got through college that blindness became a part of my life. And all I knew before that is I loved to be involved, engaged, and active. I played every sport, I was in band, chorus, drama club. I love being engaged and involved because I learned what I like, I learned what I'm good at, I learned how to put some emphasis on the notion of practicing to get better at the things that are important to me. And all of that had value for me then. It had value when I started going blind, and it has value to me now so that I get to thrive at a life as a totally blind person. So let me jump into that journey. 1 year after I graduated from college, I'm in a great job. I think I'm on top of the world, when in the span of just 2 weeks, I lose all of the sight in my right eye, and I lose half of the sight in my left eye as it closes in like a tunnel. And as you might expect, at 22 years of age, that was frustrating. It was hard. And I was honestly angry. Like, why did this happen to me? And I thought at the time that everything fun and everything meaningful in my life was no longer going to be possible. And if that's how I stayed in my mindset, if that's what I stayed believing, that very likely might have stayed being my reality. But very fortunately, that's not where I stayed. I learned how to change my mindset and start thinking about not what I can't do, but what can I do? And even more powerfully, as I alluded to earlier, I started thinking about this quote by Henry Ford, who suggested, right, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're probably right. And that notion is just that, right, if you don't believe in yourself and what you're trying to accomplish, it's very hard to succeed. But if you believe, that's the first step towards succeeding. Now, it's not magic, it's not believe and achieve, you're done. But it's an important first step. Then you have to learn how to do some simple problem solving, and you have to do the work. You have to persevere to get through some of those hard parts, to get to the good parts, to get to the rewards. But those are there if you're willing to do the first part. And that's what I began to learn. And as I said, right, I celebrate ability awareness, I do the things that are important to me, but if there's something that's important to me that I'm struggling with, that's when I dig in. And I have this poster behind me that says, climb your mountain, because since going blind, my life's actually become far more successful than when I was sighted. And I was happy with life, and I think I would have had a great life. Now I have an amazing life. I mean, I've won 2 national marathon championships. I've climbed mountains all over the world. I've got a 2nd-degree black belt. I've been a guest of the president at the White House. I mean, my list of things that I've accomplished seems to be greater than I ever imagined. And why? Because in going blind, I faced adversity, and I started realizing that that's a challenge to me. When something's hard, you have a choice. You can quit, or you can grow. And when you choose to grow, to learn, to become something more, when you choose to climb your mountain, to overcome your challenge, that's when the gifts of life start becoming more apparent. And that's when the rewards from that journey continue to come to you. So I share all of this because, like I said, I've now founded a company. I've given more than $500,000, coming in closer to $1 million, to charities that we believe in. And all along the way, I get to share this message with people because I've learned things that I think can apply to you. And I want to share a couple of those fundamental lessons before we move on. The first is, when it happened to me, was it frustrating? Absolutely. Realize that frustration can lead to failure. So don't stay there. Convert it to curiosity. Start thinking about, what can I do differently? What can I do to look at this situation differently? Even for somebody without sight, we can look at problems differently with the perspective of teamwork and others. So one of the simplest methods I suggest is an ABC method, is awareness that we're being frustrated, that we're having an emotional reaction, and what we really want to do is have a thoughtful response. So A, awareness. Second is just breathe. I've learned to just appreciate the fact that breathing calms us, and it slows us, and it allows us to see, consider, what do I want to come out of this? How can I make my life better? Right? Because that's the most important thing, is thinking about the choices we make. We are accountable for how to make our life better. And the most simple way that I love to think about this is, there's a quote by Deepak Chopra who suggests that every decision is a choice between a grievance and a miracle. Going blind was hard. I certainly could have been frustrated and said, this is my grievance and I can't do anything fun and I'm frustrated by that. Or I could say, okay, this is a challenge. And it starts presenting me opportunities in that problem solving. And as I started doing that, I started finding all kinds of gifts that were hidden in there. And now I have such an enormous community of support that I hopefully help in ways, but certainly they help me. It's an interactive process, and that's helped me climb to higher peaks, literal and figurative. So I invite you to think about that for yourself, right? What decisions are you going to make that let you look at the world to say, how can I affect my life and my choices in a positive way? And we're going to dig into that deeper in some future videos. But thanks for starting on this path with me. I look forward to sharing more, because ultimately I love my life. I do all the things I want, but this isn't a journey that's about me, it's also about you. I think you can do all sorts of amazing things, and the things you do are going to affect all of our futures. And so I hope that you, like me, learn to believe in yourself a little bit more, to realize, of course, there's going to be challenges, but how you respond to them is going to affect your future, your happiness, your success, and our world. Thanks for joining me.